The royal family's latest drama has once again left the public questioning the true nature of power within its ranks. Commentators are abuzz with whispers that King Charles III outmaneuvered his son Prince Harry and his wife Meghan in a quiet, masterful move, leaving them without a comeback. According to royal watchers, there's a growing consensus that Charles orchestrated a series of strategic steps to solidify his position at the helm. Reports suggest, says one seasoned commentator, that Charles has been quietly asserting his authority by making key decisions that directly impact Harry and Meghan's public profile. One such move was the decision to grant Prince William the title of Duke of Cambridge, effectively positioning him as the heir in a more prominent role than his brother. Critics argue that this was a clear signal from the king. Supporters would say that William is now seen as the future face of the monarchy, one royal insider explains, while Harry and Meghan are being sidelined. Meanwhile, sources quoted by the tabloids claim that Charles took advantage of the Sussexes' absence to strengthen his own influence. King Charles has been making key appointments and decisions without consulting Harry or Meghan, royal watcher asserts. This move is seen as an attempt to reshape the narrative around the monarchy, with Charles at its center. But there's another side to this story. Supporters of Harry and Meghan point out that their absence from major royal events could be more about personal choice than political maneuvering. They might simply want a break or are focusing on other priorities, one of their defenders argues. As the debate rages, the question remains, did King Charles outplay his son and daughter-in-law? Or is this just another chapter in the ongoing saga of the British monarchy, where every move is scrutinized and interpreted through various lenses? You decide. In the shadow of the royal family's grand traditions, a whisper has emerged that might just shake things up. According to sources quoted by the tabloids and royal watchers, King Charles III allegedly made a promise to Harry and Meghan during their departure from the monarchy. The claim suggests that Charles pledged to support them financially and emotionally in exchange for their public endorsement of his reign. Critics argue that such a deal would have been an unprecedented breach of protocol, undermining the stability and image of the crown. Supporters of the monarchy, however, might say that any agreement between the king and his children should be seen as a gesture of reconciliation and unity within the family. They point out that royal families often make personal sacrifices for the greater good, and that such promises could have been made in private, without public knowledge or consent. But what if it's not just about the past? Some believe that Meghan might still hold a trump card up her sleeve. Reports suggest that she has been quietly working behind the scenes to secure a significant media deal that could change their lives, and perhaps even impact the future of the monarchy. According to royal watchers, any such agreement would need to be carefully managed to avoid further damaging Harry and Meghan's public image. As King Charles III faces increasing pressure to modernize the institution while maintaining its integrity, critics wonder how this might play out. Will he honor his alleged promise to his children, or will he choose a path that prioritizes the stability of the crown? You decide. Does King Charles have a hidden agenda, and could Meghan's latest move be her way of getting one step ahead? Stay tuned as we unravel more of the complex web surrounding the Sussexes. In recent months, a narrative has emerged suggesting that King Charles III orchestrated a masterful political and personal chess game to distance himself from his estranged son-in-law, Prince Harry, and daughter-in-law, Meghan Markle. According to royal watchers, the strategy involved carefully crafted public statements and behind-the-scenes maneuvering. Reports suggest, as one insider put it, the monarchy was keen to downplay the Sussexes' roles in official engagements, subtly highlighting the importance of the heir apparent. Critics argue that this approach effectively sidelined Meghan and Harry from their royal duties, creating a stark contrast with the public image of unity and support for the family. Supporters of the royal watchers claim Charles was simply protecting his institution's legacy. You decide, they say, whether it was a calculated move to preserve the monarchy's integrity or an unfortunate series of events that led to the Sussexes' estrangement. Meanwhile, Meghan has been rumored to have plans of her own, potentially involving a return to public life under different terms. Some sources quote royal watchers suggesting she might seek a more defined role within the family, one that could still uphold her humanitarian work while maintaining a respectful distance from the palace. According to commentators, as one tabloid headline put it, Meghan may be plotting her own comeback, positioning herself for a new chapter in her public life. The debate rages on. Will she succeed in finding a balance that satisfies both her personal ambitions and the monarchy's needs? Or is this all just part of King Charles's grander plan to maintain his authority over the family? As we watch these dynamics unfold, one thing remains clear: the royal game continues, with each move and countermove shaping not only the future of the Sussexes but also the legacy of the British crown. The royal narrative has been a chess game from the start. When Meghan and Harry first announced their decision to step back and pursue a life of philanthropy and activism in California, many saw it as an attempt to distance themselves from the Crown's demands. However, according to royal watchers, King Charles III's team had already anticipated this move. Reports suggest that the palace was well prepared for the Sussexes' departure. The Queen Consort, Camilla, is said to have given her full support to her husband in navigating these uncharted waters. Sources quoted by the tabloids claim that the royal family had been working on a detailed transition plan long before the Sussexes made their announcement. One of the key strategies was reportedly the restructuring of the monarchy's public duties and engagements. Critics argue that this was done to minimize the visibility of both Prince Harry and Meghan, making it easier for them to step back without causing too much disruption. However, supporters would say that these changes were necessary to ensure the smooth operation of the royal family. Another move was the increased focus on Prince William and his role as heir to the throne. According to commentators, this shift in emphasis was designed to highlight William's commitment to public service and his close relationship with the Queen Consort. Analysts claim that these efforts were intended to gradually reduce the public profile of Harry and Meghan while maintaining a strong monarchy. Yet, despite these countermeasures, there is an ongoing debate about whether the Sussexes felt they had been played by their own family. Some royal watchers suggest that the palace's strategies might have backfired, leading to feelings of resentment and betrayal among the Sussexes. Others argue that the moves were a necessary step in maintaining the stability and unity of the monarchy. As for Meghan's future role, speculation abounds. While many critics believe she will remain largely out of the public eye, some sources quoted by the tabloids claim there might be a surprise twist in store. Cynics argue that Meghan could still play a significant part in royal affairs, perhaps through her continued work with charity and advocacy. You decide, was it all a well-planned game, or did the Sussexes get played? The situation surrounding Prince Harry has grown increasingly precarious in recent months. Commentators argue that the King Charles III has been more inclined to favor traditional royal duties and responsibilities, which have led many to believe that Harry's influence is waning. According to royal watchers, the decision to grant the King Charles III a second knighthood from the Order of the Garter, a prestigious honor with deep historical roots, was seen by some as a deliberate move to solidify his position and align more closely with established royal norms. Supporters of the king maintain that these actions are part of a broader effort to modernize the monarchy while maintaining its historical integrity. However, critics argue that such decisions could be interpreted as a strategic move to diminish Harry's influence and reduce his public profile. Reports suggest that Harry has been criticized for his continued association with Meghan, whom some see as a drain on royal resources and a source of controversy. The king's approach is seen by many as a calculated effort to distance himself from the more scandalous aspects of the Sussexes' lives while emphasizing his commitment to the institution of the crown. This strategy has left Harry in a difficult position, with his public appearances and roles becoming increasingly overshadowed by those of other members of the royal family. You decide, is this a fair assessment, or are there alternative explanations for the king's actions? The debate rages on as critics argue that Harry might be playing a different game entirely. Stay with me, because the next part is the one everyone is talking about. As we delve into the heart of this royal saga, it becomes clear that Meghan Markle's decision to step back from her role as a senior member of the British royal family was met with both admiration and skepticism. Critics argue that she misjudged the situation, suggesting that King Charles III might have been more understanding and accommodating than she anticipated. Reports suggest that Meghan believed her request for a reduced royal role would be honored without significant backlash. However, commentators claim that this move was seen as a betrayal by many within the royal establishment, who viewed it as an attempt to distance herself from her duties and obligations. According to royal watchers, King Charles III may have felt compelled to assert his authority, leading to the decision that ultimately saw Meghan and Harry step back. Supporters of the Sussexes argue that they were simply seeking a more balanced lifestyle and wanted to be closer to their children. However, critics counter that this was a calculated move designed to draw attention away from royal affairs and into the spotlight of personal drama. You decide, did Meghan misread the situation, or was she merely seeking what she believed to be in her family's best interest? The debate rages on, with many questioning whether King Charles III played a strategic game that left Meghan feeling outmaneuvered. However, it remains uncertain how much of this is truly about personal ambition and how much is about the broader dynamics within the royal family. What is clear is that the fallout from their departure has reshaped the public's perception of both Meghan and her husband, Prince Harry. The royal game is not played in the same way as a chess match, where every move is visible and deliberate. Patience and silence have long been powerful tools in the hands of British monarchs, especially when dealing with public relations crises or sensitive matters. Critics argue that King Charles III's initial silence regarding Meghan and Harry's exit was strategic, allowing him to maintain control over the narrative and avoid immediate backlash. According to royal watchers, patience can sometimes be a more effective tactic than swift action. Reports suggest that the king may have been gauging public opinion and waiting for the Sussexes to make their first moves. This approach allows the monarchy to retain its dignity and composure, even in the face of controversy. Supporters would say that King Charles's silence was a calculated move, giving him time to plan his response without appearing overly defensive or reactive. Sources quoted by the tabloids claim that the king's advisors likely advised patience, suggesting that a measured approach could be more effective than an immediate rebuttal. However, as the months passed and the Sussexes remained in the public eye, critics began to question whether the royal family's silence was simply enabling their actions. You decide, if King Charles's strategy of patience was indeed a wise one or if it allowed the couple to gain too much ground in the media narrative. In the end, the true test of this strategy will come as King Charles III and his team continue to navigate the complexities of royal duty and public perception. The monarchy's resilience has often been attributed to its ability to adapt and survive through various challenges, but the road ahead remains uncertain. As we delve into the heart of the royal debate, it's crucial to understand the stark contrast between King Charles III's institution-first philosophy and what some critics argue is Prince Harry and Meghan's more public-focused approach. Reports suggest that during his reign, King Charles has consistently emphasized the importance of maintaining the monarchy's traditions and protocols. Supporters would say this approach ensures stability and continuity in a rapidly changing world. Critics, however, claim that such an approach can sometimes come at the expense of public engagement and transparency. According to royal watchers, the king believes firmly in the role of the monarch as a unifying figure with responsibilities that extend beyond mere popularity. On the other hand, Prince Harry and Meghan have often been portrayed as advocates for change within the monarchy. They've championed issues like mental health awareness and diversity, but some argue their approach has sometimes prioritized public relations over institutional loyalty. Commentators claim that while the Sussexes' initiatives garnered significant media attention, they also raised questions about the balance between personal ambition and royal duty. One of the key points of contention is the level of transparency expected from modern royals. Supporters of the Sussexes argue that their approach reflects a more open and accessible monarchy, one that resonates with contemporary values. However, critics contend that such an approach risks undermining the institution's authority and credibility. You decide, does the king's traditionalist stance provide necessary stability, or does it hinder the monarchy's ability to connect with its subjects in today's world? As we navigate this complex landscape, it's clear that the debate over royal engagement is far from settled. The Sussexes' decision to step back from their roles and embrace a more public-focused approach has undoubtedly left many questioning the future of the institution. But perhaps there's a middle ground yet to be discovered, one that respects tradition while also embracing modern sensibilities. In this ongoing saga, King Charles III remains committed to upholding the monarchy's historical legacy, while the Sussexes continue to push for change. The outcome will likely shape not just their own futures, but the very essence of what it means to be a royal in the 21st century. In recent months, the royal family's relationship with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle has been fraught with tension and speculation. According to sources quoted by the tabloids, it appears that the Sussexes overplayed their hand in a significant way, leading to a rift that could have lasting consequences for their standing within the monarchy. Reports suggest that during a crucial meeting with King Charles III, Harry and Meghan pushed for substantial changes to their role within the royal family. Critics argue that they demanded too much, including increased financial support and more flexibility in their public duties. Supporters of the couple would say that these demands were justified given the strain they faced from constant media scrutiny and public pressure. However, according to royal watchers, King Charles III reportedly saw through their strategy. Sources claim that he was prepared for such a push but managed to maintain his composure. Instead of conceding to every demand, King Charles III reportedly set clear boundaries, emphasizing the importance of tradition and the responsibilities that come with the title of Prince and Princess. The fallout from this meeting has been significant. Some commentators believe it marked the beginning of the end for Harry and Meghan's active role in royal duties. Others argue that while there may have been a setback, the couple still holds considerable sway within the family. One source close to the matter suggested that King Charles III was not as impressed by their tactics as they had hoped. As we move forward, the question remains, can Prince Harry and Meghan Markle find a way back into more active royal life? Or will this incident mark a definitive shift in their relationship with the monarchy? You decide. And that is not even the part that has the commentary world in a frenzy. As we delve into the ever-evolving saga surrounding the Sussexes, one question continues to captivate royal watchers and critics alike: what might Meghan Markle do next? Speculation abounds in the tabloid world, with commentators painting various scenarios. According to royal watchers, some suggest that Meghan could make a surprise public appearance, perhaps at a charity event or a community service project. Supporters argue that such actions would help mend fences and restore her reputation. However, others claim that she might leverage her position for financial gain, with reports suggesting she's considering a lucrative book deal or even a series of interviews. Sources quoted by the tabloids hint at a more aggressive move. Meghan might file a lawsuit against the monarchy, alleging breach of contract or defamation. Critics would say such an action could be seen as opportunistic and further damaging to her public image. But perhaps the most intriguing speculation is that Meghan may decide to use her platform for political gains. Reports suggest she's considering aligning herself with a particular political party, using her influence to push certain agendas. This move would undoubtedly stir controversy among both supporters and detractors alike. Meanwhile, King Charles III remains focused on his duties and the stability of the monarchy. Commentators claim, however, that he might take proactive steps to address public concerns about Meghan's actions, perhaps through a formal statement or even an interview with trusted media outlets. In this ever-shifting landscape, one thing is certain: whatever Meghan Markle decides to do next, it will undoubtedly be met with intense scrutiny and debate. You decide which path she might choose, and how the monarchy will react. In recent months, a narrative has emerged suggesting that King Charles III orchestrated events to play his brother-in-law and sister-in-law, Harry and Meghan. The idea is that the king may have manipulated circumstances to distance himself from their influence. But what if this isn't about manipulation at all? Critics argue that such a notion relies heavily on a metaphor that might be too loose for reality. Cynics point out that royal families, by nature of their roles, often make strategic decisions based on complex political and familial considerations. The king's actions could simply reflect his desire to maintain the integrity of the institution or align with the expectations of the British public. Supporters would say that such accusations are unfounded and border on conspiracy theories. Moreover, the term plague itself is a slippery concept in this context. In a royal setting, every move can be seen through multiple lenses: political, personal, and ceremonial. For instance, King Charles III's decision to appoint William as heir could be viewed not as a calculated play against his brother-in-law but rather as a natural progression of succession. The media frenzy around these claims has also led some to question the reliability of sources. Reports suggest that much of this narrative is fueled by tabloids and less reliable outlets, often quoting unnamed royal watchers with their own agendas. So, while the idea of King Charles playing his brother-in-law might make for a compelling headline, it's important to approach such claims with caution. In summary, the notion that King Charles played Harry and Meghan is just one perspective among many. It's crucial to consider all sides before accepting such narratives as established fact. The situation remains complex, and the truth may lie somewhere in between the extremes of conspiracy and benign explanation. In recent months, whispers have echoed through royal circles and beyond, suggesting that King Charles III has masterfully navigated a delicate balancing act between his responsibilities as monarch and the demands of the public eye. Reports suggest that the king's strategic decisions to maintain a certain level of distance from Harry and Meghan signal a significant shift in the balance of power within the monarchy. According to royal watchers, this shift is not just about personal relationships but also about the broader narrative and image management of the crown. Critics argue that King Charles has been more proactive in asserting his authority, perhaps seeing the Sussexes as a liability rather than an asset. Supporters would say that the king's actions are necessary for maintaining the stability and integrity of the monarchy. Meanwhile, some commentators claim that Meghan might have a hidden agenda, hinting at a potential comeback or even a return to public life with her own plans in mind. "She's got something up her sleeve," one insider reportedly said, citing sources quoted by the tabloids. This speculation adds another layer of intrigue to the ongoing saga. Whatever the truth may be, the situation underscores the complex dynamics at play within the royal family. It signals a period of transition where traditional roles and relationships are being redefined in light of modern expectations and challenges. You decide, is King Charles's approach a savvy move or a calculated risk? And what does Meghan's potential comeback mean for the future of the monarchy? As we continue to watch, the stage is set for an unfolding drama that could redefine not only Harry and Meghan's roles but also the very essence of the British royal family. As we delve into the heart of this royal saga, it's clear that King Charles III employed a strategic and patient approach to handling the Sussexes' departure from public life. According to royal watchers, his strategy was multifaceted, maintaining the dignity and unity of the institution while also navigating the sensitive personal situation at hand. Reports suggest that Charles understood the optics were crucial. By initially offering support and understanding, he allowed the media to portray him as a compassionate monarch. However, as the months passed without any significant change in Meghan's public stance or behavior, critics argue that his patience began to wane. Sources quoted by the tabloids claimed that behind closed doors, there was growing frustration among royal advisers over the Sussexes' continued defiance and the potential damage it could inflict on the monarchy's image. Supporters of Charles would say that he needed to set boundaries early on to prevent further public scrutiny and speculation. They argue that allowing Meghan's behavior to continue unchecked could have led to a damaging narrative in the press, portraying him as weak or indecisive. According to commentators, the king's decision to gradually distance himself from the Sussexes was a calculated move to maintain his authority and the institution's integrity. Meanwhile, some royal observers suggest that Charles might take a different approach now that he has solidified his position on the throne. They claim that with the recent passing of Queen Elizabeth II, there is less need for him to be seen as overly accommodating. Critics argue that this shift in strategy could manifest in more direct communication and clearer boundaries being set. As we stand at this crossroads, you decide, was King Charles's approach a masterful stroke of royal diplomacy or an unnecessary capitulation? The debate rages on, and only time will tell how this chapter unfolds. Before we go on, drop a comment with your verdict. I read every one. The royal drama continues to unfold, with many questions swirling around the Sussexes and their relationship with King Charles III. Critics argue that Harry and Meghan were played by the new monarch, suggesting a calculated move to distance himself from the couple while maintaining the stability of the monarchy. Sources quoted by the tabloids claim that behind-the-scenes negotiations revealed a strategy designed to soften the blow for the public, making it seem like a mutual decision rather than one forced upon them. Supporters, on the other hand, would say that King Charles III acted with integrity and loyalty, prioritizing the unity of the monarchy over personal relationships. They argue that his actions were in line with historical precedents set by previous monarchs who similarly distanced themselves from family members deemed to be a liability or distraction. But what about Meghan? Could she turn the tables on her former allies? Some commentators claim that behind Harry's public silence, there are whispers of a potential comeback for Meghan. Speculation suggests that she might leverage her platform and recent experiences to make a bold statement, perhaps even returning to the UK with new proposals for reform or renewal within the royal family. You decide, will King Charles III's strategy succeed in maintaining his authority and the unity of the monarchy? And could Meghan still surprise us all by making her presence felt once again? Stay tuned as we dive deeper into this evolving story.